entirety of this. I'll probably be gone in like 5-10 minutes, but I'll be back and in great numbers.
I'll be back.
That's great. That's super. And hopefully that will not interfere with us whatsoever. And she's gone. Anyway, hello everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of our Miscellaneous podcast here from your friends at Nerds Are Us. In the room right now is myself, Jonathan, Foxy, and Amy, but she's gone now and she's never coming back. Oh no, there she is. Cool. Yeah, she's there. She's still here. Still here. Gone. Anyway, so that's going to be a recurring theme throughout this show. So, I think she's resurfaced.
Oh dear.
So, yes, this is our all other business podcast where basically we don't, whatever segments we don't have enough for a show, we're basically going to just throw into this one. But of course, as you may have realized from when this is uploaded, hopefully, if the edit goes well, it's Halloween, which means that we get to talk all about spooky shit tonight.
Yay!
I'm so happy.
Oh, yes. Aren't we all? But yeah, before we do dive into that, hopefully you have been enjoying all of the content that we've been putting out over the last few weeks. I suppose that the big hitter, if you want to call it that, has been our RPG finally landing. You've seen, I think, as of recording, 3 episodes of Future Wrestling has come out. Well, I say 3. Amy was awake for only 2 of them, so she'll have to.
I was there in body, but not mind or spirit.
Exactly.
Till the main event.
Yeah, precisely. I had to edit you in, which I think went very, very well.
You're able to put the facts, though.
Yes, she served her purpose. That was it.
I do have to admit, I do appreciate the do not disturb sign. And then, because I was very curious because you could have done a really mean thing and you didn't. And I appreciate that. So I very quickly checked on it to look, and it was just a do not. But then it was like, as you introduced me, and it just opens up, and I'm just dead.
You see, this is the weird thing. This is the weird power you have as an editor, because I was thinking like, well, I mean, I could really be a prick about this and just not bother. But then again, it is kind of creepy just watching a woman sleep for 2 hours on a video. So maybe not do that. Let me just like protect whatever privacy she may have, and the rest of us get on with our fucking RPG business.
Now, this actually now like kind of realizes the fact that during the time of when we recorded that, there was 8 of us on the call.
Yes.
So that means 7 of you just watched me sleep.
Oh, we didn't. We weren't. To be fair, we weren't paying attention to you at the time. We were all engrossed in the serious action that we've been having. And to be fair, like we've had some cracking matches in those three shows. Like I'm reminded of of Alan Morph's first appearance. The greatest character to never debut in a wrestling ring, in a real wrestling ring. But I know for certain when everything does get back to normal, Joe is by far absolutely going to get pitched at to some poor fucking trainee. Dom Tuck, let's say, for example, is now going to become Alan Morph, and it's going to be magical.
Actually, I don't think it's going to be Joe pitching this. I actually think it's going to be a trainer at Fight Factory pitching this to Shark Boy. Ooh, ah, ah.
Ooh, ah, ah, as they say. But yes, that is the hope, the dream, that we'll see Alan Morph in real life. If only we knew somebody at Fight Factory that we could try and negotiate this with. Anyway, moving on. So we have that. We had a few other of our colourful characters. James Rage, who was a very nice guy and everyone loves him.
He's so cute. He's so dangerous.
And amongst others, Tony's character has had a cracking start so far. He's lost every single match he's been in, and it has absolutely nothing to do with the fact he's not been able to be at the call to play his character. Nothing whatsoever. Not a thing. Yes.
Tony, you may remember, he actually started this YouTube channel.
He was one of the founding members, and then he decided to leave the country, which is a shame, typically.
I love that so much. He set up the YouTube channel, like the actual channel itself.
Yes.
And then he just fucked off
to Finland, yeah.
Never brilliant. To be seen again.
Or will he? I mean, we definitely haven't recorded episodes in advance, so we couldn't possibly tell you if he appears. Anyway, that's for you to find out. Elsewhere, we have the Mirror WWE Universe back in full swing after our return to our bunkers. I've taken over playing duties, and Eddie Guerrero is still doing bits on the Raw roster, if you can call it that. His timeline hasn't gone that great.
For sure.
Yeah, he's living off fucking fumes. Like, in the game gallery, we've given up Ripper altogether, and now we've moved on to Discworld. And fair to say, Amy has found her most favorite character in Discworld.
Honest to God, if I had known. Oh, stop! I can actually see its little wormy legs. If I had known that there was going to be a fucking walking trunk with centipede type legs that shaked his ass and stared at me as I tried to relax, I never would have wanted this. Oh, stop! I never would have wanted to pick this.
Well,
like, it does a weird crab walk. Like when it's going down the steps, it has like a weird sideways crab thing. I'm like, what are you? Like, are you a dog? Are you a crab? Are you the trunk that haunts my dreams?
All of the above.
Yes, you are. You're the trunk that haunts my dreams.
We all brought this upon ourselves. We voted for this as opposed to Elijah Wood.
Yes.
Which, to be fair, I mean, that was another thing that could have haunted your dreams, for Christ's sake. So, I mean, I guess it could be the lesser of two evils, although
we'll never know.
It hasn't really. Yeah.
We'll never know until Legend of Spyro gets drawn out of the hat again, which is entirely possible. I mean, it's a very small hat. But
I just wanted the Tim Curry game. I don't understand why I can't have the Tim Curry game.
The Tim Curry game might come out. It's one of the good games. It's in there. It's in. I can prove it. I'm not going to draw it out now because like that's just teasing. Like I wouldn't do that to you. Anyway, what else have we got? Just a tiny amount. Just a tiny amount of Tim Curry. A dip of Tim Curry. What else we got in? We've had some really good episodes of the Foxy Bros podcast. We had a good friend Kev on earlier in the month, talking about comic books and strongman stuff and mental health. So that was a very good listen. We also had Vic Viper and Jerry Soul on, and somehow that passed the censor. I've no idea how. Those two lads really have grown up over the years. Which is great. And on this week's episode, I was on it talking about Metal Gear Solid.
Yes.
Which is great. It was a really good listen because I forgot that we did a month ago nearly. It's like, what did I say on that podcast? Oh, it wasn't too bad. That's good. Healthy.
I had real fun with that one though. Like that was good.
Yeah, that was a good listen. I enjoyed that. And we also had our first episode of Anime no Shosai came out. We were talking about yourself, Anya, and Lorraine was talking about Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. Another good listen. Really enjoyed it. And more of the same, hopefully. Indeed. Hopefully soon, yeah. And we'll have hopefully some more episodes of Comics and Beyond on the way as well. If I'm not mistaken, I believe X-Men and Deadpool is next on our schedules. Am I right in saying that?
I didn't know we had agreed anything at this point in time. Wow. Is it?
Holy shit, people have not been reading my fucking floor notes. Wow, okay. Wow. Sure. That's just...
Is there a document? Oh my God, is there a Google Doc?
No, there's not a document. Of course there isn't. Oh I'm just going to pretend that, like, okay, fine. Well, I'll just edit in you nodding. It'd be easier. So,
document.
Yes. Wow, I didn't realize I was falling into this producer role that quickly, but fucking hell. I mean, it looks like someone has to. And yeah, so we all have...
Are we going to do Deadpool and X-Men?
Well, it was mooted, and that's the only idea I've heard in the last 3 weeks, so sure, why not?
Wow. I'm on that podcast, and I didn't even realize that.
Clearly, yeah, this is the thing. Like, anyway... We'll have something for you in the near future. Trust me on this one.
Yeah.
And I suppose actually, according to our analytics, our most popular series at the moment, guys, is That's a Lie. The Beyond Belief Factor Fiction is currently our most consistent series.
I'm delighted.
So many people are getting Rikered.
Oh man, it's like a weekend fix of Rikering, man.
You get a Riker and you get a Riker. Everybody gets a Rikering.
It's not pointing, Amy. It's leaning. You have to do like a leg lean on something. That's a Rikering. It's like the opposite. It's like the opposite of a point.
You get a Riker.
Now you got it. Now you have it. There you have it. Now you have it.
I can't do it. Oh, Foxy's real Riker.
That's a power Riker, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah, the real power riker is to get on the chair, right? By actually just like jumping, like leaping over the chair, practically, just cocking your leg over it. That's a power riker.
Or just Big Evil in it on that motorcycle.
Oh, totally, yeah. Man, he was
a riker there.
You can tell, like, by the second series, the producers of the show going like, yes, let's give these people what they want. More Jonathan Frakes on things.
Although it was a shock to all of us when we see him without the beard.
Yeah. For one take.
I haven't seen it yet, but like obviously if you do, you're gonna watch it. Like
it takes
the whole episode is full beard, and then for one little segment, no beard. It's like
it took us out of the moment.
It really did.
That's not lie here. It took us all out of the moment, and what makes it even funnier as well, there's a slight delay, I think, on like when
on the playback. Yeah,
it was
on the realization of what's happening. So like I think Jonathan reacts first, and then all of a sudden the rest of us are like, and then Foxy, and then me. What the fuck is this?
It's like a great delayed reaction. Yeah, I was like, oh wow, something's horrified Jonathan. What is it? Oh god, he's right. It's terrible. But yeah, so we've had a good bit of stuff on the channel. We've also had a new episode of Watch Graps with me, where we look back at some of Ryan Small's best matches, because it was felt like the right thing to do after his passing and so forth. So by all means, check that out. We'll hopefully have some more Watch Graps coming soon over the next month or so. So stay tuned for that. But I believe that's all of our business, unless I'm forgetting some of our shows. I sincerely hope not. But I think that's a lot. So let's jump into our segments, guys. And as you may know, watching this, it's Halloween, which means that we're contractually obliged to do spooky shit like talking this voice. Thankfully, I won't be doing that. No, me neither. I got sick of it straight away. So we're going to start off because it's Halloween. Amy, would you like to talk to us about horror movies?
I do. Well, horror movies and horror movie villains. That's what I'm going to discuss today, okay? So, what I have here is it's kind of like a little game, first off. So, if I name the character, do you think you can name the movie that they're from?
Ooh, I would probably.
Okay, we'll start off with a really easy one, okay? So this is basically they're from the horror genre, or which I mean, or they have horror in their title based on one of these characters. For example, Frankenfurter, Dr. Frankenfurter.
Oh, is that the Rocky Horror Picture Show?
It is the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which is he is the sweet transvestite.
He's Tim Curry.
I'll be honest with you, that's one of the main reasons why I said it. I just wanted to get my Tim Curry pop in. Okay, that's basically. So I'll name the character, and you just kind of go with what the movie is. All right. So I want to see how good your knowledge.
Can we
is.
rate these horror villains in some way, like some sort of league table?
Like, this thing is, they're not all villains.
Ooh,
that's the thing as well. Okay.
So you didn't say it was villains, so.
You did say villains.
Oh no, that's for the second part. This is just I just want to see kind of what your horror movie knowledge is and what movies I will discuss. Okay, so Sam Loomis.
Jurassic Park. Oh, sorry, no. Halloween.
Very similar movies, really.
Very,
Jurassic Park and Halloween.
Quite similar. Yes.
Both had dinosaurs, as I recall. Both had clever girls, I believe.
Clever girl. But yeah, so yeah, we do. We have that one. That's correct. That was Halloween. Herbert West. Do we know who Herbert West is?
Might need a hint on that one.
Sounds like a Hitchcock name.
It's not a Hitchcock name. It's a H.P. Lovecraft name.
Oh, bollocks.
So the movie was based on. Well, the movie in title was based very vaguely off a H.P. Lovecraft story.
Oh shit! It's not Innsmouth. I know. I would know Innsmouth because the character normally that is called Parker. Bollocks. Although once I hear it, because I know of the movie, but I can't remember it offhand. It's really annoying me.
Oh, you're gonna kick yourself when I tell you.
Yeah.
The Reanimator.
Yes, the Reanimator.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. me see. Oh, this is a very easy one.
Say that again?
Nancy Thompson.
Nancy Thompson. Shining?
No, we mentioned this movie in a previous recording that was done 20 minutes ago.
You're forgetting that we don't have memories between us. You really are.
Oh, Freddy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yes. I heard Nancy and immediately assumed.
Okay. Yeah. So we're doing it this way. So another easy one. Okay, a very easy one for all of us. Ash Williams.
Oh, Evil Dead.
Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Okay, easy one for Foxy. Jonathan, you're a bit lagging behind here. Samara.
The Ring.
Yeah. Oh, this one is very. Oh, this one's a bit obscure. Dr. William Weir. This is a very obscure one, but also an excellent sci-fi horror movie.
Alien?
No.
Not to say because I don't think
it was from the 90s. It's from the 90s. Okay. This actually had a stellar cast in it as well. Fucking Lawrence Fishburne was actually in this movie as well. Sam Neill plays this character. It's a sci-fi horror movie. It is actually probably one of the better sci-fi movies and horror movies because the fucking graphics in it are quite visual and they really do stick with you when you've seen it.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think either of you have ever seen this movie then if you don't know it.
Like Sam Neill is actually throwing me off in this one.
Yeah, that's the thing. The Lawrence Fishburne thing kind of narrowed it down for me and now I can't remember it.
Last Event Horizon.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yes. Fuck's sake.
That is honest to God. If you have
you're
Sky,
right. It is.
It's on demand. Oh, Foxy! If you've never seen this movie, it's so good. Like it is legit proper sci-fi horror. It is really, really good sci-fi horror. R.J. McGreedy. R.J. McGreedy. He wouldn't really be known as RJ in this. It's normally they probably would have called him Mac in the movie. And again, this is also a sci-fi horror, which was a remake. This was actually the second time this one was done, and he is played by the fabulous Kurt Russell.
Bollocks.
That's this.
Yeah. I'm fucking bottling this because I know I can see him in it and I can't picture the movie.
The Thing?
Plays a helicopter pilot. Yes! The Thing!
Yeah.
So good. So you can kind of see where the bases I'm going on this one. Let's see. Oh, definitely that's far, far too obscure. The only reason why I know is because I watched that movie by accident. Chucky is definitely far too easy. Annie Wilkes. Do we know who Annie Wilkes is?
Wilkes.
She's his number one fan.
Oh, Misery.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, I like the hints. Yeah. Very good. Laurie Strode.
Halloween.
Yeah. Norman Bates.
Psycho.
Yeah.
Reagan McNeil.
Need a hint for that one.
She got very close to God. In a very, very non-religious way.
Exorcist?
That's the one. And I'll do the last one on this little kind of quick game. Oh, you definitely won't get this one. Griffin.
Just
a
Griffin.
single name,
Griffin. They recently did a movie with the basis of this character, but he wasn't the name Griffin.
It's not It, is it?
No. We have two more after this one.
I'm drawing a blank on that one.
The Invisible Man.
Ah.
The original Invisible Man. That's what I said. That's why I said I'd be surprised if either of you got this one. And then the last one that I'll do, just on the little fictional game that we have before I actually go into the horror movies. Dr. Heter. Heter? Dr. Heter. Heter. He's German. German doctor. And this is probably one of the most disgusting movies that was ever actually made. Huh?
Human Centipede.
Yeah.
Must be, yeah.
Okay.
Once you said disgusting, it was like, yeah, that was it.
I was like, oh, that could have been one of two movies.
Yes.
So, all right. So I kind of have a basis of what type of characters that you know has. Okay. So this is a good thing to know. Halloween seems to be the top one that's on it. However, what I did was I did a search of a list of basically, let's see what are considered the scariest movie villains on this one, right? And I have to admit, like some of them, like you have your okay. I'm not looking for the ones that have the Freddy Kruegers and the Mike Myers. That they've been done, okay. And like, there is other horror movies as well out there, okay. So this was basically a view of let's see what else is out there, okay. So the first one that pops up when I do this search, I'm not going to tell you the website that I got the search off, okay, because I never go onto this website at all, because it's not for horror things. If anything, it's for clothes. Realistically, this magazine mostly covers clothes and sexual positions, to be honest with you.
In that order, they've decided.
Yeah, but for this Halloween season, they've decided to branch out a little bit, and they've done the 34 horror movie villains that will haunt you for the rest of your scaredy cat life.
Ooh, horror clickbait! I love it.
I know.
How terrifying!
It's my thing. I love the clickbait. Okay, so this is what we're doing. So number one is Mama from the movie Mama. A possessed, demonic, and spider-like creature that's controlling mother is none of these when two young daughters adopted, even though she abandoned them in the woods for 5 years. She does what any mother would do. She terrorizes and tortures everyone, including her own kids. I'm looking at the picture for this. It's very CGI'd, but Jesus Christ, like if you weren't expecting it to pop up, which I wasn't, you do give a little bit of a jump on it. It's Cosmopolitan magazine. I'll send you the link for this, and so you can actually see the pictures afterwards as well on this one.
Yeah.
A more recent one, actually, which is actually quite a good one for number two, Dean, Missy, and Jeremy from Get Out. This is the girlfriend and her parents. The entire family in Get Out is terrifying and freakotic. They possess the kind of passive manipulation creepiness that fucks with your heads and sends shivers down your entire body. That and the fact they embody the insidious racism that our country was built on. You can tell it's an American website that I'm on. Which, realistically speaking, those are the type of villains that really do kind of terrify me. They're the everyday villain. Exactly. And it's shit. Number three, well, on this one, you've got Carrie White from Carrie. Sissy Spacek. She does such a fucking good job on this one. Honest to God, when you've both seen Carrie, yeah?
Yep.
Nope.
All right. Have you never seen Carrie? Oh shit! There is a fucking iconic scene in this movie where everything is building to this one point, and it's basically the straw that broke the camel's back. And when it happens, it's fucking it is actually legit a terrifying thing, because you're like, oh shit. So you can kind of argue in this, like Carrie White is a victim in the story, but just because her, like, it doesn't mean that the murderous rampage that she goes on doesn't warrant that she's horrific. It is terrifying.
It's you can see there how it happens, as it were.
Yeah, it's not completely.
Oh Jesus. Yeah, like I mean, this is one of these real kind of things, like the atmosphere around her kind of like is the nurturing and nature around her really kind of led to this, but it is a fucking terrifying realization when it does happen. Number 4 was The Thing from the movie The Thing. And okay, we don't really know what it is. Like, it's an alien, obviously, that they find in the ice and stuff like that. This is one of these movies where I love this movie. It's a really good movie. It's not the remake that they did, but the original one from 1982.
Yeah.
It's so well. It's like the effects that they use in this movie are practical effects. You're not looking at CGI. And when the fucking thing, like when it's the head of the doctor, when they do, like, he's trying to bring him back to life and it rips his arms off, and then the chest bursts, but then the head starts to detach from the body and it turns into the spider-like creature. It's, honest to God, that is fucking nightmare fuel. It is. And another one which is nightmare fuel when you watch it for the first time is actually Seth Brundle from The Fly.
Oh yeah,
Cronenberg. Jesus Christ, that man needs Jesus. Like, he needs something, because the effects like that he manages to get for his movies, like Rick and Morty did the episode, like, oh my God, you've Cronenberged everything. That is a legit thing.
Yes.
Especially like when you watch Seth, like as he's slowly like turning into a human-sized fly, it's disgusting. Like when he's pulling the fingernails off and everything, and you're just like,
oh yeah, it's something like that.
I actually, it takes you. Yes, it takes it a few times to watch it. That's how I went. Probably now. Okay, I have to admit now, I'm actually kind of on board with this list so far, because normally these clickbait ones are shit, but this one, have you ever seen? Michael Rooker.
Yeah.
Right. He is a fantastic actor. However, I could not watch him in movies after I saw Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, because he terrified the fuck out of me in this movie. And this is based on, it's based on a true, an actual serial killer. It's based on Henry Lee Lucas. It's fucked up. It's such a fucked up story. And I've watched this one once. I've only ever watched this movie once, and I will never watch it again. It's kind of like Requiem for a Dream. I don't need to see it again because it has stuck with me for quite some time.
Yeah.
But Michael Rooker in this, it disturbed me so fucking much. I was like, I could not differentiate him as a character in any other movie that I watched for quite some time. That's the last impression it leaves. Highly recommend Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, only once, and maybe a group of you watch it just so you can kind of laugh off some of the more disturbing images that's in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, it is proper one of those ones. It does stick with you. And Esther. Do we know what Esther's from?
Beetlejuice?
No, but close. Orphan. Do you ever see the movie Orphan?
No.
Okay. So look, little kids can be super cute and they can be adorable, but they can also be freaking psycho. And Exhibit A is Esther from Orphan. She emphasizes evil child syndrome, which is apparently a real thing. But the twist in this movie is just, you're like, it kind of hits you. And if you read into it, you will also actually find the inklings of a true event that actually was the inspiration for this story. And that will fuck you up even more when you finally watch it. It's, honest to God, it's one of those things you're like, that is complete and utter horseshit bollocks. And then you find the BuzzFeed article that has the real links to the newspaper.
The real story behind it, yeah.
And yeah, it fucks you up. And then number 10 actually is Griffin from The Invisible Man.
Yeah, you mentioned this.
So I'm actually surprised it's turned in. So in the 2020 retelling of H.G. Wells' classic novel of the same name, modernizes the evil Dr. Griffin by making him super possessive ex-boyfriend/inventor who fakes his own death and makes a techie suit that turns him invisible so he can terrorize his ex-girlfriend Cecilia. His hobbies include sneaking into Cecilia's room and pulling off the bed covers while she's sleeping, tackling her from behind, the stuff that makes everyone around her question her sanity. I didn't actually get to see the remake of this, but I did want to see it, and to date I still haven't seen it, but I've only ever actually heard good things about it.
Because he did the Hollow Man as well, which is kind of the same vibe, wasn't it?
Hollow Man is the same vibe. That's the same. I mean, every Invisible Man kind of horror story has the exact same thing. It's always going to be the scientist that literally goes psycho because of it. Number 11. Oh, it's funny that we see this one. The shark from Jaws. I think this is a little bit unfair.
That's harsh on the shark. Like,
it is, because a shark's just doing what a shark's got to do. But this circa 1970 shark might look kind of fake. Sure, it does. I mean, everyone knows that it's a fake shark. But if you've been ever afraid of the deep blue sea, the massive great white villain, his rows of razor-sharp teeth, hankering for human flesh, and not an ounce of remorse will only confirm your fears. You'll definitely want to say, no thanks to any cruise or boat trip opportunities forever. Yes, this is true. It is true.
That's correct.
Because that fucked me up. That is not a lie. This is based on an actual story.
A similar event did take place in a bath when I was 4. I was scared of it.
Honestly, God, I couldn't wait. I was in it so quick.
Yes.
Next on our list, we have Ghostface from Scream. Fact.
Yeah,
Ghostface is terrifying. I get that most people at this point associate Ghostface with things like their little brother's Halloween costume or the scary movie, and maybe you don't find them that scary, but literally, look at the mask. The eyes are too empty and the mouth is way too long to be natural. This is actually one of those things where you're kind of like, do you know when you're watching something, you're like, nothing like this could ever happen, and then you kind of realize shit like this probably does actually happen every day. You just don't hear about because there's so many places in the world. This was based on killings that happened in America. It wasn't based, obviously, they weren't ringing people on the phone sort of thing, but there was actually a string of teen murders committed by their school chums in a high school in America. So, I mean, Wes Craven, God bless his little horror heart, he did actually find some real shit that actually could kind of creep you out. The Xenomorph from Alien. No, come on, everyone kind of got creeped out. Like, that is honest to God, when Dallas is in the vent and they're trying to find it and it's literally just the dot. I doesn't matter how many times I've seen this movie, my heart is always in my fucking throat when I'm watching it because I know what's happening, and I love Tom Selleck, so like he didn't deserve to go out that way. But also that movie in general is quite like. It's like the first one is very much sci-fi horror, I will agree. The second one is more of a war movie, I think. Than a horror movie.
It delves more into the story around it more so. Because the first thing just had here's your set, here's your evil corporation. Yeah.
Second one was actually it's one of those ones where the sequel kind of does do better than the first one. I will agree.
It fleshes out the story.
A lot more. One of our favorites, Michael Myers from Halloween, ruining Jamie Lee Curtis's trick-or-treating and otherwise harmless sheet mask since 1978. You might want to hide all your sharp knives after this one. This is one of those ones where it's like, imagine a 6-year-old child actually went off and does this, and you never get an explanation as to why. Like,
it's fair show.
And I do like not the remake, the kind of the direct sequel though to the first and second movie that was released in 2018 that starred 2018 that starred Jamie Lee Curtis. Did any of you watch it?
I didn't know.
What did you think of it, Foxy?
I liked it because
I enjoyed it.
It was fairly loyal. Like they had their own little tweaks to it as well, to the lore. Like they weren't brother and sister. That was just a rumor. But I like the kind of parallel. The fact that like she was so driven by what had happened. She basically like spent her life teaching her daughter how to defend herself, and in turn, like tried to do that to the granddaughter as well.
I like a sense here. It's because this is actually one of the things where someone who's suffering with post-traumatic stress would do this.
Yeah, it's a way of rationalizing it.
There is a massive kind of twist kind of thing that's in it. Yeah, Jonathan, do you have any plans on watching this anytime soon?
I'd probably just the original. If I was to watch it, it would be probably the original.
Okay,
because I don't do remakes.
That's
really.
Grant. Okay, Grant. Right. So, spoiler alert for anyone who had not seen this one, but probably will see it. When the new Doctor takes over, and Foxy, you'll know what I mean, and then he completely does a fucking heel turn in the movie. That pissed me off so fucking much. Right, the first time I watched it, it enraged me so much. Like, that's fucking ridiculous. This is stupid. It doesn't make sense to anything. Then I watched it again when it was released on Netflix, and then I actually really enjoyed it because I was like thinking, oh my god, he's fucking turned, like, this is what Sam Loomis would have turned into had he properly gone psycho in the sense. And then it made sense to me as to why they did it. And also a nice little fun fact on that one, there's 2 more coming out. One of them was meant to be released this year, but it's been pushed back due to COVID. But I think it's funny when you think about it, Danny McBride is actually one of the fucking main head people pushing this, which I think is hilarious when you think about it. Fucking Danny McBride is behind the new Halloween movies, which I actually adore. A new type of entry into the scary horror villains, the entity from the movie It Follows. The paranormal STD or STI, depending on what way you look at it. I've never actually seen this movie, but I know a lot of people who have seen it, and they have nothing but rave reviews for this movie. And it's one of those ones where I keep meaning, I'll probably watch it, but like, this is the setup for you. You have sex with someone who's infected by an entity. The entity, which can then take the shape of anyone, including people you know, starts following you. The entity follows you until it kills you, or you pass it to someone else through sex. If the entity kills that person, it comes back for you. You can never go anywhere with only one exit. You can never trust anyone. You can never sleep again. Basically, you're fucked for all eternity. Good luck. Bonus, for a good 3 or 4 days after watching this movie, you'll believe every single person you see is a sex demon coming to murder you. I don't know about that.
I like to think incels automatically like work like that anyway. Because they would never see a woman go, no, demon.
No, demon spawn. I think I like the idea that they have.
In regards to that,
I'm thinking of somebody actually in my head.
Everyone knows one.
We all know the one. We might be all thinking of the same one, but well. Annabelle from The Conjuring and the movie Annabelle. You put a fucking creepy doll into a movie and you have me sold on this one. So the Conjuring universe is based obviously off the lives of Ed and Lorraine Warren, who are known to be actual real life paranormal experts and investigators. So the stories that James Wan kind of took for The Conjuring, the first movie, and he didn't do the second one, but the Enfield Horror, which was the second one, was based on, they are actually true events that happened, or happened. Yeah. Like, I'm into the paranormal type thing anyway, so I'd be more inclined to believe that kind of shit. Annabelle was also one of their true stories. Like, she was based on an actual doll. It's a Raggedy Ann doll. Now, they're not intimidating when you look at them. It's a fucking rag doll. So the doll that they have for the movie obviously is done up a little bit differently, but I'm not gonna lie, that doll is fucking creepy that they use in the movies.
Maybe it's just me, but dolls never got to me. You know the kind of way. It was just, you know, when people have certain triggers. Like, even then, I have an aunt who like collects, like, has all these like dolls, right? And oftentimes I have to stay with her when we're down the country, and I get this room that has all these dolls in it. And yes, they do actively stare at you while you're sleeping, and no problem with me. And it took me a while to realize that the reason I always got this room was because no one else was brave enough to sleep in it because of all the dolls. And they're porcelain dolls. Like, they're lifelike, but they're like, I was just like, they're supposed to be scary, I guess.
I don't know where it started with for me. I remember my godparents bought me a porcelain doll for Christmas one year, and it was left sitting on a chest of drawers that I had in my room that was literally facing the bed. So she was just staring at me because her eyes didn't close.
Of course, yeah.
She was set up, and she had brown curly hair, a yellow sundress, black shoes, white socks, and her name was Amy, and that's why she was bought for me for my godparents. They thought it was nice, and it stared at me the entire night, and I did not sleep at all. And the next day, I put her in the wardrobe, and she was left in the wardrobe. And she only ever got taken out when my godparents were over, so they could see that I had her and that she was like, she wasn't broken or anything like that. She'd be put out purely just for when they came over, and then straight away my dad would put her back in the wardrobe because I couldn't have her. I didn't. And ever since then, like nowadays, I don't mind dolls that much. I don't mind like a toy doll or the plastic ones, but when I see the porcelain dolls, I don't know. There's something about their dead eyes that just really creeps me out.
I can get that, all right, yeah. But like sometimes like, when you don't have that initial like feeling towards them, you just go like it's like multiplying by zero.
It came out of nowhere. It was a weird thing. It just kind of came out of nowhere. It's just I didn't like them. After that, though, it's like never again. Didn't want them. Jason Voorhees, our favorite camp counselor from Friday the 13th, keeping teens in check since 1983. Jason wants revenge for getting drowned in the lake. I get that. I really do.
Everyone can understand that.
Have to drag his mother into it. The only thing worse than a serial killer, hell bent on destruction,
is the one who has to get his, brought along.
Is the one who has to get his mother to do it for him. Now, this is there's a great little kind of gag in the Scream movie with regards to this when they ask who's the killer in Friday the 13th. And straight away, Casey Becker is like, Jason, it was Jason. And it's like, that's wrong. It wasn't Jason. Granted, it is a trick because in the movie, in the first movie, it is Jason's mother, Mrs. Voorhees, Pamela Voorhees, who is the killer, which is what it's a good twist. Like it is a good twist. Like you're not expecting sweet little old ladies to be the one brandishing the fucking axe. I will admit though, I think the first time I ever saw Friday the 13th, it didn't get us until the very end because like it's one of those, where you're desensitized to a lot of movies, and then it happens, and you're like, oh shit! It's when the little bastard comes up from the lake. The very end of the movie. It's daylight. Nothing should happen, but to get caught out on a jump scare from 1982 or 1983 really pisses you off. Then we had to rewind it because we jumped and we screamed. We had to rewind it because we didn't realize what it was that we jumped and screamed at. So we had to be able to, I need to see what it is that scared me. And then we rewound it, or I say rewound it. We went back on the DVD to watch it, and the fucking same reaction happened again because we weren't sure when it was going to happen, but it still caught us off guard, even though we knew it was coming. We went outside and have a smoke afterwards, and we were laughing about it, but it was pitch black on Halloween. So I made the noise in the alleyway.
Oh, that's evil.
Scared the shit out of my mate. It scared the shit out of my mate Shauna, but I couldn't see her. All I could see was the smoke or the basically the lit cigarette, and it actually scared me then at that point. And we were 23 and 24 at the time.
So in order to try and, as a joke, you accidentally scared yourself doing it.
Yeah, I did.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
And you know what? It was worth it. It was worth it. Pinhead from Hellraiser.
Never liked Hellraiser.
I mean, looks-wise, do you know what? I think one part of that movie creeps me out, and it's when he has all the hooks in him and it rips them apart. That's the rest of it. I'm kind of like, it's too slow for me to kind of move on.
I'm just not a fan of Clive Barker generally. I don't like him. His work.
Okay.
Very overrated.
One of our, he's been top of the talk actually. This one, he's come up a few times. Freddy Krueger from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, makes sense.
I could not sleep in the middle of my bed after seeing the first movie because of Johnny Depp when he gets sucked into the bed.
Yeah.
So I sleep, get dragged in, and then I got over it really fucking quickly. That's those ones though.
Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I think that was my first one.
That's so good. That's actually so good. Do you know what? Actually, the first one I ever saw was Dream Warriors, and then I went back and I think I saw the first one, but I didn't see all of Dream Warriors. If you get me, I only saw bits and pieces of it. And then I saw the original, which, do you know what? The original is. I actually generally like the remake as well. For that one, I'll be honest with you. I do like that they go a bit more into his background in it. And I thought that was good.
Very good in that role as well.
He's so good in it. He really is. There's this one. not doing I'm skipping a few of these ones just to kind of get through them a bit quicker. One that I only watched recently, and when I say recently, I mean like 2 or 3 days ago. Candyman.
Oh yes, Candyman. Yeah,
there's a new one coming out.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's why I remember it. It's like
Okay. Pour one out for all the 90s kids who saw this at the video store and mistook it for a sequel to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. The guy offer you if this guy offers you an everlasting gobstopper, do not take it under any circumstances. I watched, so I know, do you know when you know the story of something, but you don't, I've never actually watched the movie, right? So I knew the background to the character before I'd ever actually seen the movie, if you get me. I knew that he was an artist. He fell in love with the daughter of the dude who hired her to do her painting. He was lynched. He was his right hand was cut off, and he was basically smeared in honey and stung to death. So I knew how the character came to be, but I had no idea of what happened in the actual movie. And when there's a scene where there's a little boy, Jake, is talking to Helen, Virginia Masterson's character. And when he's telling her the story of the little boy that went into the restroom, and it shows you it kind of like does like the not like the fucking screenshot. The flashback. Thank you to it. It genuinely unnerved me. Like it actually did. Like it unnerved me. The movie did, because I'm thinking I know the story, but I've never actually seen it, and that kind of creeped me out a fair bit.
Yeah.
I'll only do like 2 or 3 more of these ones, and then we'll move on. Hannibal Lecter, Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, checks out.
Jack Torrance, The Shining.
Yeah, Shining. Yeah, one of the best.
I don't like The Shining.
It's funny because I was having this conversation today, and like someone was kind of like, she was getting ideas, like suggestions about horror movies for her and her roommates. I was like, just Shining, just go for it. And like I was saying, like go for the actual like fucking the proper one, the Kubrick one, because that's the one where like Kubrick goes way too far in getting the performance, but you can tell it works. And like this is what Kubrick does. He fucks people up, and it makes it into such a captivating movie, because you can actually see the mental breakdown in people. You know,
that's the thing is, it's like I don't want to watch a woman having a nervous breakdown when she's only meant to be acting.
Yes,
and it's too far changed from the book for me to actually be able to enjoy it, because I read the book first. And then I was like, my mom was like, oh, there's a movie of it as well. Do you want to watch it? So I went in thinking, oh my God, I'm going to get to, and I had a completely different view of what was going to happen in the movie. And then what did happen. And I was kind of like, that was a massive whopper of a disappointment to me. Like some bits of it, yeah, it is terrifying, but it isn't terrifying. It doesn't terrify me for the right reasons.
Yeah, different reasons.
It terrifies me because I'm like, I can't believe there actually was a person who was this big of a piece of shit that he actually put a woman through this just for a fucking movie sort of thing. Like, and Shelley Duvall was left.
Yeah, she never acted again after that.
She never recovered from that. So he destroyed a woman just for a movie that didn't even really. The only real thing that had for its source material was character names and the title. That was it. Right. This is the second last one that I'm going to do. Pennywise.
Yeah, Tim Curry again. Look at all my teeth.
Both versions of Pennywise are actually fucking terrifying. No matter what way you look at it. I'm sorry, okay?
It's a clown thing. It's the clown. Just every time clown comes up.
Like, Skarsgård does a very good fucking job at that.
John and Nathan dragged me to see that in the cinema, and I had a panic attack during it. I don't like clowns.
Me neither.
I
do should all fuck off and die.
Clowns, okay? It is not a normal thing, okay? People do not... They're not normal.
I agree.
Okay?
Fuck clowns. If you're a clown watching this, delete your fucking account.
Right, and honest to God, now, the thing about it is, we went to the cinema to see the remake, and I and I had a panic attack midway through the movie. However, in saying this, the movie was the first one was really good because it's like a mix between the Goonies and I can't think of a horror movie that I can mix it with, but it gave me a real Goonies vibe to it, and I really like that. You know, the kids on an adventure. Now, granted, they're on an adventure to find a dead body, realistically, so it's very Stand By Me-ish in that sense.
Yeah,
but the actors are fantastic, but like even I ended up having to like watch the sequel as well because you know it's one of those things was like I've already read the book, so I do know what happens in the story. But it's also, I've now watched the first part of it. I kind of want to see what they do with the second part. And I did enjoy it. Granted, I watched it like that every time Pennywise came on the screen. But otherwise, that's just like me. Like, it's not to say that it's a terrifying thing. It's just, I don't like clowns.
But what else is the fact that he could actually pull off a lot of the physical, aspects of that. I mean, like,
it's so good.
Roll the eyes. He could do the smile. He could actually, he could
do
that.
There's a scene in the second movie where he doesn't have the makeup on and he does the smile, and he doesn't even like. That's the thing is like that. Honest, that it's creepy. Huh?
It's borderline Joker.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Smile and the grin.
Okay, the last one that I'm going to do on this one because I've taken up a lot of time on this topic and I didn't think it would be this long. Is probably one of my favorite. This actually, it's not even probably one of my. This is actually legit. I think my favorite horror character of all time, Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, that checks out.
Okay, so I love the comment on this. Spoiler alert: that's not really leather.
No.
No, this is one of those movies where you don't actually see a lot in this. It's actually
for a lot's inferred.
Exactly. For a movie called The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, one person dies by a chainsaw. You don't see this person. It happens off camera, and there's very, very little blood actually shown on this movie. Everything is implied. So Pam, when she gets shoved onto a meat hook, you see her back, like you see the meat hook and you see her back, but you don't see her actually get put on it. Everything is implied. You hear it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Everything's left to your imagination as to what's actually going on this one. But the scene that will always stick out with me is Paul's death scene, where Paul goes into the farmhouse and the shutter door is open and he makes the walk, and then all of a sudden you just see it and you hear the squeal and the hammer, and then just crocks on the head, and then the body starts to convulse. That image is seared into my brain, and I will never forget that. That image has always been seared into my brain, and it's one of those movies where it's like, no matter how many times I've seen it, I will still have to kind of go, because I know it's coming up. Yeah, you have to brace yourself. So it's honest to God, it's one of my top 10, top 5 horror movies. I think I'll always end up going back to the Texas Chainsaw. If I'm doing a horror movie marathon, that will be the one. That is the movie I end it with. That's my come down. Is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm like,
you have three moments that actually like that you always remember. Now, one is your man getting killed, like getting whacked with the meat hammer. The next one is the girl just getting outside the door and Leatherface grabbing her and bringing her back in. And then
the legs.
The third moment is him with the chainsaw in the middle of the road, just
dancing around.
They're the 3 moments that you always remember.
Honorable mention to Sally when she's covered in so much blood and she's just hysterically laughing in the back of the truck as well. That would be an honorable mention now for me on that one. But it's one of those movies like it kind of sticks with you. So these were the classic kind of horror movies, I think, in a sense, or the classic kind of horror movie characters that you have. But Jonathan, you've been looking at our new aged our new aged horror.
Yeah, I suppose so. This is I suppose the most organic horror you're going to get. And obviously for people who like this has had some real life ramifications, which is a shame. But for the most part, this has stayed on the internet for the internet. This comes from the Something Awful forums from the 2007, 2009, I think it was. And basically the challenge was from the Something Awful forums is to create a horror creature, create a horror villain, basically. And try and make it as heinous and overpowered as possible, really. And what they made up was the Slenderman. Now, the Slenderman does appear in kind of different, there's various different like iterations of Slenderman from before this was created. So it's not an original idea. I think there was like an old sci-fi show where you had like a faceless man who wears a suit and a bowler hat. And there's that kind of design, I think, was in something from Clive Barker as well. So it comes up a lot. I think it was in The Conjuring, maybe. I can't remember. Anyway.
It was also Buffy the Vampire Slayer actually had villains.
Yes.
The Silent. Now, granted, they had faces, but that would be
it's
another
a similar
thing.
vibe, yeah. So the whole idea of it is essentially there's Something Awful and various people on it created the idea of something called a tulpa. Which I believe does have some sort of paranormal like effect to it, but I'm not big up on it. But basically, tulpa is something that will manifest itself if you think of it. Basically, it's like Candlejack or something along those lines, or Bloody Mary. So the more you think about it, you'll manifest it and you create it.
Existence, basically.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, you will into existence. So basically, they created this Slenderman mythos, and within basically a week, everyone chipped in and basically created a mythos overnight. And it took various different iterations. There's some fantastic photoshops of Slenderman appearing in like historic photographs and stuff like that, and people never realized it was there. But then once you became aware of its existence, you could see it in the photograph. So you'll see it in like forests and stuff like that. And they don't really have the same kind of design pattern. Like it is a ridiculously tall person, very slender, hence the name, and normally has like tendrils and arms coming out of it. So initially it was a child snatcher. That was the whole point of it. It was the fact that like kids will will walk into a forest and never come out of it because the Slender Man took them. So it did take a lot of like mythos, like stories and rumors from different things and serial killers and all that sort of shit. But essentially, like it created that kind of mythos. But it really only took a solid shape when YouTube started getting their hands on it, namely Marble Hornets. So if you're not familiar with Marble Hornets, it's ancient history now at this stage, but it's one of the first hits when it comes to YouTube, really, as a show in all but name. And I think it was actually started like a week into the Slenderman mythos, so they were fucking on it like that, like fucking hot sauce. So to give it a kind of a brief explainer, Marble Hornets, what it actually means is the title of a failed student art film. Okay. That's the actual premise of it. So the YouTube channel that was set up was supposed to promote this student art film that never actually happened. Okay. But as you pick up the story, and it is a story, by the way, it's called an alternate reality game. The idea is that you, as the viewer, is playing along this game. As you're watching the video, you've jumped into this alternate reality, and it's up to you to piece things together and play along and to watch and to observe and to do all this sort of stuff. And essentially be part of the investigation. The whole idea is like you're being invited in to try and figure out the next part. And sometimes with some of these ARGs I'll mention later on, your reward is the next part of the story or what happens next. So what the things that other people are not seeing outside of the videos, like a bonus track.
Yeah.
So anyway, Marble Hornets was the first of this, and by far the granddaddy of them all when it comes to this. The actual the blueprint to everyone else that would follow after. So it features as I said, the student film. There's three main characters to it. One is Alex Crayley, who is the film director. He's the person making the student film. You have Jay, who was his former best friend, who was slightly involved with the production, but then wasn't. Basically, they kind of fell out of it. And then you have another guy called Tim, who jumps in kind of like midway through the first season and becomes like a very significant character. And there's various different people floating around it who basically either disappearing or get killed off afterwards in that order. So essentially what happens is we pick up a story where Jay is trying to resurrect the Marble Hornets project by all accounts. But in order to do that, he has to try and get in touch with Alex, who has basically done a runner. He's left the film half finished. There's tapes everywhere. Jay gets like conversations with people saying like that Alex's mood completely changes like throughout production. Like he was like a fairly but like he was fairly no crack to begin with, but then he was like very aggressive and angry and terrified and paranoid and all this sort of shit. And used to like essentially went a bit Kubrick on people. It was just like, no, do it again. It's wrong. You do it again. Or something like you'll see parts where he is actively trying to do a take and he goes, right guys, let's wrap it up, let's go. And you're thinking, what the fuck's going on? Right? So as we pick it up then, we see, so Jay says, I found some old tapes of Alex and I just decided to use this YouTube channel here to document what I'm finding because I think there's some weird stuff going on here. So what he does is the first few clips are very, very like neatly done, where it is just a clip of Slenderman appearing. And it is just a face, like it's outside Alex's door or something, and it turns to him. And it's just those 30 seconds. But of course, if you're there on Something Awful forums and if you're there on YouTube playing along, you're going, oh, it's the starting off point of what would become a really good story. So the story develops on, and essentially you get a combination of like Jay's investigation into this, and then the actual footage from the Marble Hornets documentary, the film, and like it's quite tongue-in-cheek in a way because the student film is deliberately bad. It's a really shit student film. You know, it's one of those ones where like the main character is coming back to his old childhood town to fight because he's like fallen out of love and he needs to re-find himself and all that. It's deliberately cringy. It's deliberately something you'd expect some prick in like a film uni to make about himself, and it's his own personal like mission to get back to where he was, you know? So it's terribly acted.
Zach Braff is the one that,
yeah, okay. It's very like that, and it's in a way like it's deliberately done that because like you're not going to pay attention to the acting because it is deliberately wooden. And to be fair, the lads that get in do a smashing job of making it badly acted. It's really good, and that way it's a very organic feel to it. But again, all the film footage is kind of tainted in some way. So this is where the kind of the special effects and the incredible like effects they've done, and this is a film project by all accounts. So they've done like stuff like the audio distortion, video distortion, and little clues hidden in distortion and stuff like this. And again, sometimes like when you're watching these kind of like panning camera shots and stuff like that, you're there going like, wait, was that Slenderman there? And then you're rolling back to see, yeah, he was fucking there all that time. And like this could be like a year into this fucking ARG, and you're there looking back at this going, he was there all this time. Fuck it, right? So essentially, after maybe like a couple of log entries, because that's how the episodic structure is. Basically, log entry could be any shape. It could be like 30 seconds to 15 minutes. You don't know what it's going to be, but it's up to you to digest it and see what you can get from it. And so after a while, maybe about like 6 months into this whole thing, where the story's a little bit fleshed out, and we see what's happening to this Alex character. Essentially, the symptoms of Slenderman appearing is that you get these kind of coughing fits, you black out, you don't know where you are, and essentially you have complete memory loss, right? So they're the main symptoms. And at that point, then that's when Alex himself starts filming himself and trying to find the Slenderman and see what the hell is going on. He's like doing his own investigation. Hence why this student film never got off the ground. This is why. And so after a while, Jay does the exact same thing. He starts going on the trail because he can't help himself. He wants to find out what's going on. He's so invested in what happened to his friend that he wants to now go on the hunt. And lo and behold, he starts getting haunted by the Slenderman. But there's more to it now. There's other characters popping up that are kind of masked characters. There's one guy that kind of wears this sort of like those kind of like acting faces, like a guy, not quite a Guy Fawkes mask. You know, it's kind of like those like death masks.
The comedy and tragedy mask.
Yeah, one of those kind of like porcelain-y ones, right?
Yeah.
So he starts popping up everywhere and starts fucking up with his shit in particular. And he seems to be able to teleport. He just pops in out of nowhere and starts fucking with Jay in particular. And we don't know who that is. He just starts fucking with things around the time the Slenderman appears. So it's almost like, picture it almost like he's one of Slenderman's thralls in a way. And we don't know who it is. And around the same time, then we get introduced to this Tim character who was one of the actors on Marble Hornets, who was involved in the production and doesn't want anything to do with any of this. He wants to basically, he said, look, guys, I've got my life like back on track, because his character has a serious like history of mental illness and disorders and all this sort of stuff. He's manic depressing, suicidal, all this sort of stuff. So he's happy now. He's on good pills. He just wants to get back to his normal life. But Jay won't leave him alone because he thinks he's hiding something, you know? So it's all this kind of dynamic between these three characters over all these log entries. And it's essentially the trajectory is that Alex has already gone completely off the scale with the Slenderman stuff. Jay is slowly progressing, and Tim is trying to stay sane, basically. And over like the 2 or 3 seasons, all that starts juggling around. And I won't go into details on how it ends, because it actually does have a very captivating end towards it. But you have to be paying attention to what's happening elsewhere, because there's a side channel set up called To the Ark, because that's an important plot point. And essentially, that starts like setting up video responses to the log entries, you know? So it's like whoever this person in this mask is making these videos himself, and like leaving clues for the viewers to find themselves in like the previous entry or the next entry, or elsewhere. Like there was like documents made up for people to search, and like fake medical records and shit like that. So people were, the actual framework was there for people to dive in and start investigating themselves. And that was the whole point of the show. And it ultimately did come to an end because the lads wanted to do something else, and that's fair enough. But the story does sign off in pretty like climactic fashion, I have to say. So then once this happened, about a year or 2 into this, then a few other like YouTube channels started sprouting up with their own Slenderman mythos stories. The first one I remember watching is something called Everyman Hybrid, which I believe is still going on, but it's always coincidental. They always seem to have like an entry around Halloween just to keep the fans happy, you know, kind of way. Yeah. But the story is very much dead. Like, it's just like the lads are just doing this for the crack now, you know. And this one's really funny actually, because it's supposed to be like a health and wellness channel for men, right? So it's like, hey man, hey guys, if you want to keep fit and healthy, here's what you need to do. Here's instructions on your diet, your nutrition, your exercise, and the characters in it, like I suppose the main character is called Vinny, and he's supposed to be the exercise guy when he's clearly out of shape. Like he's like me, basically. He's like, you're not going to take fucking advice from him. But the whole point of it is that he's also going on a fitness journey as well, right? So yeah, he's doing all these fitness ideas, doing push-ups and press-ups, and it's real generic, like upbeat gym music in the background and that sort of shit. And you've got his friend, I think his name is Ethan. And he's a nutritionist, and he basically goes on like, again, he doesn't look like a healthy looking guy, but he knows his food, and he's a whiz with knives, so he's able to chop all this stuff up and make a great fruit salad or something like that, and explains all this, twiddle his knives, all this shit. And then you have other ancillary characters, like the cameraman, I think is Jamie or something along those lines, and he's like just not really into it. He's just cameraman, so that's fine.
Just there.
He's there. He has I think it was a sister who's involved somewhat as well, but again, not quite. So here's how this AG kicks off, right? You have a few episodes of their going on, and it's really banal shit. It's just like, here's how to exercise healthy, here's how to warm up, here's your nutrition. And in between like the second and third episode, they've hidden a Slender Man in the background, right? Of say their like basement, or like he might be at the window or something like that. And they deliberately make it noticeable because they may give him a red tie instead of a black tie, because that's normally the attire he has. So the joke was that basically after 5 or 6 episodes, they get caught out, right? They basically issue an apology saying that, yeah, listen, it was only meant to be of a joke. I know a lot of people got offended and got kind of worried when they saw the big guy in the suit behind us. It was like, yeah, it was just meant to be a joke. You know, it was we saw it online and we thought it'd be a funny thing to throw in just to get people to watch our videos and that. We promise it'll never happen again, right? So initially, this Slenderman ARG starts off with a fake Slenderman, okay? But the beautiful part is, when the videos are going up, right, there's an extra like PS part at the end that the guys at the time don't know about, right? So when they do this video apology, after like a couple of seconds, like dead air, a clip of them trying to find the Slenderman like outfit they had is now gone. That's added in, and no one knows who added that in. Right, so that's a kind of a continuing theme of that series, is that suddenly, okay, here's the video they want you to see and want to put out, but then suddenly there's like a 2 minutes of like that of things that shouldn't be there, and they could be interspersed in between.
Shit like that creeps me out anyway.
Yeah, so it's good. It's clever the way it does things.
PS's always creep me out.
Yeah,
and I don't know why.
Yeah. So like I said, so every one of these ARGs tends to start off the same way as Marble Hornets, and then once they start finding their feet and writing their own stories, it takes their different paths. So this one in particular takes on the path of like basically possessive creatures, right? So you'll see Slenderman a lot, And they started investigating that and doing paranormal shit. Something weird is happening in the house and they want to try and solve it. And it's Slenderman oriented. But they also then throw in different something awful creatures I didn't mention. There's one called the Rake, which is basically this kind of weird, this like naked man / hairless dog hybrid with like really long nails and fingers. And he basically, the idea is that if you go into the woods, you might find the Rake and he'll kill you and slash you to death. And that's the sort of thing. Because again, there was another one of those kind of like competitions to make a horrible horror creature, and it worked. And whichever way they've done the Rake is really impressive, because he's just kind of in the background. You see him like dart across. I was like, fuck, that looks really good. Like, but again, the whole cut and thrust of it is that essentially there's been this kind of like possessive creature that's kind of taking over people at certain points to do heinous things. And it's normally the Ethan character that gets possessed. They find out eventually that the creature, the demon, as they call it, is called Habit. And he's been the one that's been pulling the strings with the videos and making the PSs and accidentally killing people and all this sort of shit like that. And it's very good. Again, it's quite entertaining because they condense a lot of their story into nice bite-sized videos. So if you're into like, if you want to be just kind of taken along for the ride and being part of the whole like journey, then that's one for you as well. Another very good one at the time was Tribe 12. And again, very similar setup. It was a YouTube channel set up for a different reason, hence the name. But basically, it started off because the main character's cousin committed suicide, and he wanted to commemorate his death and kind of share happy moments with him and that sort of stuff like that. But again, as he started looking at through old videos of the two of them and all that, he started finding very unusual things. And lo and behold, it's the Slender Man. Way, he always seems to pop up here. And again, it's a very similar thread. He'll investigate it and all that stuff. I suppose the prominent thing about that was the special effects. It was a lot more action-oriented ARG, and a lot more characters and a lot more like otherworldly forces. So if anything, this was a bit more Lovecraftian themed a little bit, where you had like this kind of more class of like prominent characters. So for each character in the show, they had this kind of like otherworldly persona, if you like, attached to them. So the main character is called Noah, and after a while you find out that his kind of like alter ego, his persona is kind of like is him basically, but under a pseudonym, and he's been trying to save Noah from all this stuff. And the reason you know this is that there's little title cards right at the end of each video that this Firebrand character leaves for him. So again, possesses him for a little while, sticks this on at the end of the video, and that's the clue then to the next part for all the audience to digest from. It's died a death now for reasons I'll get to, but probably the highlight of it was that this guy Noah, or the person playing him, featured like allowed the audience in a lot more. So he used to do streams of him like being involved in this ARG and having these kind of like mental breakdown episodes. He said, so there's one part, the kind of one of the season finales is him knowing he's going to die at a certain time. He's been told by all these like personas and these like evil puppet stringers that he's going to die on this day at this time. So he says, right, fuck it, my life means nothing now, so I'm going to stream it. I'm going to see what happens. Because again, his strategy is like, well, if it's streamed and there's people to witness it, they'll find my body quicker, and hopefully that whoever did it will get caught. Very weird logic. But he basically just streamed then for 4 hours, essentially, of him basically drinking a bottle of whiskey, neat, essentially. Just going like, fuck, I might as well have fun while I'm waiting to die. So the time comes, which is 11:11, weird kind of continuity thing in it. So 11:11 passes, he doesn't die, right? And this is so fucking well done, I have to say. A minute later, essentially, someone called Firebrand appears in the stream chat saying, I'm holding him back, get out of the house, or whatever it is. And everyone in the stream chat's going, dude, look at the chat. There's someone talking to you. He's here. So it's really well done. But the way it works out is on the stream, you'll see this character Noah, and then the door opens behind him, and it's him, like a few minutes in the future, telling him to get out. And it's so fucking well done on stream. And then on the video accompanying it a week or two later, it's like the future him recording past him on the stream. So it's so well fucking done. I don't know how he did it, but it was a very clever like filmmaking technique of like the kind of like sleight of hand film equivalent. And it was so fucking well done because he did it on stream once and then did it again then as himself later on. So I don't know how he pulled it off, but it was fucking impressive. But that was kind of, I suppose, the main kind of highlight of it. He did a lot of collaborations with some of the other like non-Marble Hornets shows, which is a shame actually, because I found out today researching this that last month he was accused of grooming underage boys and girls, and supposedly
that's the real horror.
That's the real horror. Yeah. Unfortunately, he looks like he is being accused of pedophilia. So, yeah, that's a real shame, because that's a fucking kick in the balls. But I suppose the last two I'll mention.
2020.
I know, yeah, it's ridiculous.
What was the second one that you were talking about? What was the lads who did had the PSs? What was that one called? Was that just the one you were talking about?
No, that one's called Everyman Hybrid.
Okay, I'll be honest, I've never actually seen these before.
Oh no, some of them are great. Like if you were looking for something for Halloween, like definitely check one of them out, because they are good fun to watch in a block.
Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually just subscribing to them just so I have them there. Because the Marble Hornets one I'd never actually heard of before. Okay, yeah, and what's the next one? Sorry, go ahead.
So the last one I'll throw in here from the Slenderman mythos is Dark Harvest. And this one's a little bit more on the nose, where essentially these two guys who have who are interested in the paranormal, they basically go on like kind of spooky adventures and like, you know, check out haunted places and that, and they basically accidentally come across Slenderman.
Yeah, this one I have seen before.
Oh, yeah, you have seen Dark Harvest.
This one I have this one I have seen, yeah.
Yeah. This one I quite like, to be honest with you. It kind of pushes the boat out in different ways, where it doesn't go full tilt into the Slenderman shit, but basically proposes that Slenderman has a cult behind it, and then goes into the cult aspect. So it's actually quite clever, because everyone in this ARG community outside of Marble Hornets, who was his own beast, all collaborated with each other and went with different angles with the mythos. So you had like, again, this kind of like alter ego personas with Everyman Hybrid. You had like this kind of very personal revenge story with Troy 12, and then you had like the cult that apparently controls this whole lot in Dark Harvest, and they all had a bit of a shared mythos with them, which was very, very good. Quite well coordinated, actually, when I think about it. But yeah, like it got quite visceral at times. There were like ritual murders, there were like deaths, there were like all that sort of stuff, and very good special effects in doing so, and kind of got you hooked in. There wasn't much of an actual game behind it. It was more of a show, really. But probably all the better for it, actually, because it kind of made for a better view in the end, especially looking back at them now, because you can't really take part in the game aspect, you know. But yeah, they were quite good. I suppose if I could recommend one, it'd probably have to be Marble Hornets. That's the granddaddy. You'd have to watch that before diving into anything else so you can kind of get it. Especially for this on the special effects like point of view, like the way they do things, the clever little camera tricks and the sleight of hands that they do. And then some people would do them better, some people would do them worse, but the actual effort involved in them are very, very good. And again, they just get you hooked in, because like the jump scares are like, they're not always there, but when they are there, they're very fucking effective, you know. Or sometimes they'll reveal a character and go, oh shit, it's him, and then immediately you have no chance to react because the video's over, or it's moved on to the next clip and stuff is like kind of out of order. And so yeah, definitely check them out. It's the reason I brought it up is that like it's a Halloween tradition of mine to binge watch Marble Hornets every year or so, or sometimes I'll pick one and just binge it. It's a very odd one to do, I guess, because like most people do horror movies, but I'm weird, so I have to go somewhere more obscure and like niche. So I go, fuck it, let's just watch Marble Hornets and see how far I can get in before I lose interest again. But yeah, they're fun watches in themselves, because again, a lot of them are like they're slow burns sometimes, and like if you're going in expecting scares straight away, don't. You want to like sit down and kind of pay attention and listen and watch.
Yeah. And
then actually like get yourself involved in the game. And once you do that, then the scares will kind of come naturally. Like, but it's the actual fact you're taking part and you're listening and you're observing the whole lot. The lore behind it and why these things are happening and who this character is and A, B, C, and D. They're genuinely a good watch. It's something you'd want to sit down and spend the whole day doing, really. Because that's the whole kind of point of it, really, in that sense. But yeah, that's my debrief of Slenderman ARGs. If you're looking for something that is not a Slenderman ARG, it's just a really good creepypasta, Ben Drowned is a very good one. This is a Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask corrupted ROM story. These ones are fucking gas, like, because a lot of them are like of like really wholesome like games that everyone has played, but someone has found a corrupted ROM, a weird ROM of it, and they play through it, and it's haunted, and it's full of blood, and all this weird shit. But basically, the mythos behind this one is that some guy basically got his cousin's Majora's Mask cartridge after he died during mysterious circumstances. They think he drowned himself, even though he doesn't live near any body of water. He just magically drowned, for no reason. So the guy basically like captures him playing through his Majora's Mask cartridge, and the whole game is fucked up. It's really weird, and it's just really well done from a hack, from a programming standpoint, to make all these weird things. The Link character is like askew, like the actual like spine is bent like on like a 90-degree angle, because they've done something clever where this happens all the time. If you swap the characters around with some games, especially in the N64, if some character is like always horizontal in the game, and if you try and swap his body into someone else's, the character you swapped into is still trying to be vertical, trying to be itself, but realizes, oh shit, I'm this character as well. So how does that work? Okay, I guess I'm this now. Cool. I'll just walk along then. And then randomly, like the character would like burst into flames and all this sort of stuff, and just kind of like made like certain points of Majora's Mask more fucked up for different reasons, you know. But it is quite well done, and the great thing about it was that like people got so invested in it that the guy that made the creepypasta deliberately nuked it at the end. The last like feature of it was like an April Fool's joke, and completely killed the creepypasta. It's just like, oh wow, so the most exhilarating creepypasta we've ever had of a gaming creepypasta, best one ever made, ends on a dance routine. All right, cool. I'm okay with this. That's a natural end to the story. So
accepted
into canon. So yeah, that's that then. I suppose I'd be remiss then if we didn't come back full circle, Foxy, to your segment. One I'm really looking forward to, because we've done this card subject to change stuff over the last few weeks. So this one we're going to call a bit of a non-canon round. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, we're putting a hold on the competition between John and Amy this time around, and for this one we're all going to take part in it to build one card together, and keeping with the spooky theme, we're going to be using stars from horror movies in our booking schedule. So
kind of makes sense now why I went through horror movie characters now, doesn't it, guys?
Indeed.
I've increased our roster by at least 25.
Nah, but like, yeah, like we're gonna work on a 7-match card, and obviously we can incorporate like horror movie characters as well as wrestlers, and just see what we come up with and see what we have to change.
Just to set up the ground rules a little bit here, I don't think we have any limit on what wrestlers we want. This is not like an Irish wrestlers thing. No. This is like literally just like fantasy booking, like horror movie for horror person versus wrestler person, and see what happens.
Yes. I know wrestlers versus zombies was already done, but I think we can
do better. We can do better, yeah. Okay, so
who wants to start?
Well, what if we rattle off like a few horror movie icons and then see who has the best matchup for each one, and then we can make the card that way.
I'll be honest with you. I'm already thinking of a women's match with Samara from The Ring.
Samara, ooh, that would be a good one for that. Do you know what would be nice, right? Her versus not Asuka, Kana, like original Kana, would be really, really good.
Yes.
Like a proper clown Kana. So for some reason, fuck it. Okay, she's not wearing shoes either. Fuck it. Just abandon all pretense. It's Samara versus Kana.
Oh my god, that would actually that could go either way. Oh, I like this.
Imagine
I want to see that match.
Imagine that as the opener. Like that would have been like, wow. Like you would expect that to be like maybe second, third match, maybe.
Yeah.
But not the fucking opener.
Okay, we'll put that into match number. We'll put that into the slot for match number 3. Jonathan,
Yeah.
have you got your notepad there? Yeah.
I have it here.
Good man. Right. So put down match number 3. Let's say do Samara.
Yes.
Okay.
Have it here. All right. So let's rattle off a few kind of common people here, and we'll find someone good to match them up with.
Okay.
Okay.
Ash from Evil Dead.
Ash from Evil Dead, right?
Ash from Evil Dead.
Now, I used to figure out which form of Ash.
I want to use Deadeye Ash. I don't want. I want a clear heel baby face dynamic here. So if we go for Deadeye Ash.
Okay.
I mean, think of the strength in that right hand alone.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I mean, no. Don't think dirty on it. That is one hell of a right hook and chops galore. I mean, that Deadeye Ash would bring would be very sadistic in a sense, like of the pain that he could do. So like that Walter-esque chops.
I was about to say Walter there, yeah, but yeah. I don't know. Would I save Walter for a larger foe? That's what I'm thinking.
I was actually thinking Minoru Suzuki.
Yeah, Suzuki's a good show too.
Oh.
But again, I feel like I want to save Suzuki for someone more sadistic. It's weird. Like I don't know who where to pick from. It's weird.
Okay.
If it's an opener, you want kind of like your lower tier, like lower to mid tier.
Okay. I could see Jason Voorhees in an opening match. Dude has to get home to sort out with his ma. Okay, so I mean he has to be on the card early so he can catch the last bus home.
Jason Voorhees versus Kane.
No.
Jason Voorhees versus Undertaker. Dead man versus dead man.
I was actually going to save Undertaker for the Michael Myers match, and I'm thinking old school Undertaker, like the original Undertaker, where he actually does the whole Michael Myers get up.
Oh my God! Can you imagine the two of them doing that? Abyss.
Yes.
Oh, I do like Jason Voorhees versus Abyss.
That is good.
That's a good match. That's a solid opener.
Monsters Brawl.
Yeah.
That, to be honest, that sets the scene for the entire show.
I like that. Yeah. Let's
okay. So we have our opener. Okay.
Yes, Jason Voorhees versus Abyss.
Really sets the spooky theme.
Yes.
So match number 2. We're gonna go tag.
I'm trying to think of a good double act. Okay, if we were doing a tag match, we could use Leatherface and Chop Top. Chop Top is from the second Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He is the twin brother of the hitchhiker from the first one. He's not in the first movie because he's in Vietnam. He comes back with a metal plate in his head.
Okay.
It's a very good character, the second one. He's very good for the comic relief. So you've got family versus family. Or sorry, that way at least you can actually use them as a tag team because they have a history together.
In that case, because I always thought it was kind of natural that like Leatherface and either Cactus Jack or Mankind would follow with them. So if I was to pair up Leatherface, it would be with Mankind.
Interesting.
Leatherface versus Chainsaw Charlie.
That's good. Actually, no, that's it. Leatherface and Chop Top versus Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie.
Oh.
That's it. Chainsaw and a pole match.
There will be blood. Yes.
Quite literally.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
Like, and to use the quote is like, everybody is going to die.
I should have taken the money.
To be fair, Terry Funk is absolutely going to be the first man to die in that.
We're going to do the deal, and everybody's going to die.
Oh, love it. Okay,
so we've 3 matches.
Yes, so we got Samara versus Kana. I would say we might throw in a multi-person match into this as well, like a fatal 4-way or something like that, just to kind of spice with it. I see that as kind of maybe like a match 4 or match 5 maybe. But yeah, so we got Jason Voorhees versus Abyss, Leatherface and Chop Top versus Mankind and Chainsaw Charlie, and Samara versus Kana. That's what we have so far. So we've got our kind of a women's match ticked off. We have a tag team match ticked off. Let's go for maybe like a multi-man.
I got one.
Okay.
Pinhead's Pandora's Box Rumble.
Interesting. Oh, I like it.
You open the box. You unleash all the horrors. The big.
Oh,
you won't know.
Oh do you know what I'd love actually?
I can actually see Vince Russo popping out of this box.
No, do you know what I'd love, right? We go for like a
and David Arquette following him.
Forgive me here. I'm drawing a blank here, but I've got an idea for this, right? So I'm thinking like what do we go for? Yes, that's it. So I'm thinking Survivor Series here, okay? I'm thinking campy, right? Because we have good kind of like horror so far. Let's go for campy horror here, okay? So I'm thinking a Survivor Series match, or at least something along those lines. We have Team Dr. Frankenfurter and 5 like suitable villains to go there, and then 5 wrestlers just to match up with that. And it would be a team that would just suit whoever they're facing. It's work in progress. I don't know how many villains.
Team Frankenfurter versus Team Angel Cruz.
Yes. Yeah, that would be good.
Sort of aspect then.
Yeah.
Because honest to God, I can actually see that ending in the time warp.
Oh, totally. It's gonna end in a fucking. It's gonna end in that. So
you could literally use the cast from the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Like you have Magenta, Riff Raff, Frankenfurter, Rocky Horror, and what is her name? Oh, Eddie. We'll use Eddie actually because Eddie's a good character from that one. Yeah. And then you literally have like independent wrestlers going up against them and just being the most what the fuck are we even doing here type situation. But Angel with the white coat on being like, I got this, don't worry, I got this. Who would be so that's 5. Okay, so who would be the other 4 wrestlers then you would use? Bearing in mind we can use anybody.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna go with, so if that's the case then, so we got Team Angel Cruz. So Angel Cruz team captain. Now who will be the members here? So let's try and find people who match up well. So if we're going for like for like here, who would be a good riffraff comparison?
Sammy Callahan.
Sammy Callahan's good.
Would work, yeah.
Haskins.
Actually, Haskins' riff would actually work in the riffraff one. Sammy Callahan would work more against Eddie.
Yeah, I was thinking that actually. Yeah, so we got Haskins, Sammy Callahan. Let's see who we got then. So Magenta. We need a Magenta. Debbie. Debbie Patel.
She's an option. I would probably put
Necro Butcher. He was fine.
As Rocky Horror, against Rocky Horror, actually that would work. I don't know why. I'd like to see Magenta take on Jordan Lynn Grace.
Oh yes, that would be good actually. That would be good.
And then who's left? Then you have Rocky Horror, who is tall, blonde, muscular, and stupid.
Darren Carney. In character, Darren Carney. Like literally.
Labrador, Darren Carney.
Yeah. Good boy, Darren Carney.
Actually, to be fair, that I Darren Carney could probably like play Rocky Horror. He has.
Actually, no. Hang on. Would we go Darren Carney? Go Be Cool. Would Be Cool maybe have better fit in this?
Yeah.
Yes.
So we have a team then of Team Frankenfurter, namely Frankenfurter himself, Riff Raff, Magenta, Eddie, and Rocky Horror. And then they're going up against a team of Angel Cruz, Mark Haskins, Sammy Callahan, Jordan Grace, and Be Cool. That's the as it were Survivor Series match.
Oh my God, Sammy Callahan and Mark Haskins are going into this match so begrudgingly, but by the end of it, they'll be the two enjoying it most of all.
Oh God, yes, yeah, exactly.
With fucking Vicky Haskins on the sideline, actually dressed as Magenta to try and psych her out.
That absolutely, they do like a weird double act. Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, so we got that then. So we have a multi-man match. So really, what we're missing is kind of like, I guess, a gimmick match of sorts. Which I've got thoughts on. So we got 2 matches left, or 3 matches left rather. I'd say one of them could be a gimmick match, maybe.
Well, don't forget one of the matches that we have actually is Jason Voorhees versus Suzuki.
Versus Abyss.
Who did we have as Suzuki then first?
We have Suzuki spare at the minute.
Okay, sorry, that's what it was.
Actually,
thank you.
What about Freddy versus Suzuki?
I mean, both of them do haunt my dreams and nightmares.
Well, for first,
that would work. I can see Freddy tapping out, and then trying to go sneaky at the end.
No, we just have a nightmare match. It's Freddy Krueger versus Cody Rhodes. Hilarious. No, I think Suzuki's better shit.
Look, that's a 20-minute promo that we don't have time for.
And that's just Freddy Krueger.
Yeah. God knows how long Cody would go.
Yeah, precisely.
Don't go home.
Be Freddy fucking killing himself.
I
can't do it. I can't do it.
Welcome to my nightmare, bitch.
Okay, so gimmick match.
I've got one. I got one for this. Right? Pennywise, Bray Wyatt, Firefly Funhouse.
And I am going out for my smoke break / piss break / bar break during this match. Oh my God, I can actually just imagine like it will actually start to rain indoors and red balloons and red lighting will just fill the fucking arena.
Yeah.
Chucky's Playhouse.
Chucky versus Hornswoggle.
No, I like that. I like Chucky's Playhouse, and it is just still like it's still the same gimmick, just Chucky's involved in it, like kind of like a special referee. Oh my God,
there'd be weapons all over the shop. Yeah, exactly. Butcher knives.
Yeah.
You can have him as the triple threat, or you could have him as like the actual enforcer.
I think I see him as like not involved in the match, but he's the magistrator. He's like he's just letting these things
He's
happen,
literally sitting. Do you know the tennis chairs? Do you know where the umpire sits on a tennis?
Yes,
that's where Chucky is sitting.
Definitely,
he's overlooking this, keeping everyone in check.
Okay, so yeah, we have that Pennywise versus Bray Wyatt. Now we have our main event. Okay. So I think we've done quite well in saving up a few like people here. So why don't we go something big? Let's have a Monsters Ball. Now I know we have Abyss there already, but like let's go for something equivalent. So you have like 2 monsters, 2 wrestlers. That's the way I would look at it.
Okay.
So who's left over? Mike Myers is left over.
Mike Myers is there. The shark from Jaws.
I think we'll go for humans on this count, surely.
We don't have a Shark Tank match now.
No, like we've got Undertaker and Kane left over.
We've Undertaker and Kane left over, true, but we also have Hannibal Lecter as well,
and the Boogeyman. Boogeyman could be still in play here as well.
We also have Billy from Saw.
Can I have a match between Billy and Chucky just for the fuck of it? 2 dolls duke it out with Annabelle as the special guest referee.
I can do better than that. We'll have Billy and Chucky and a manager Rico, and they have a gay marriage in the ring, and everyone will love it. It's not a publicity stunt at all, folks. This time it's
so
real.
Happy together. To be fair though, they'd be happy together. They both have the same murderous tendencies, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Main event: a monsters brawl. I think we kind of have to use Michael Myers.
Mm-hmm.
Austin Powers comes out. Sorry, I'm in the wrong movie.
Sorry.
We haven't used Ghostface either.
Nor have we used Frankenstein's monster.
He's
for going old
death.
school. I know, but he's in play still.
To be fair, that's far too much outside interference with the amount of body parts that he has. I mean, that's too many different people.
That is very, very true, actually. Yeah.
I mean, and think of poor Foxy and all this. I mean,
Foxy's been taken over by a.
Matches.
Well, Foxy's at this point, I'm presuming, has been possessed by a ghost that learns how to count to 3. Because otherwise, this show is just not going to happen.
Okay, so main event.
So let's see.
I'd like to see. Can we have Suzuki and Walter on one side?
Mm-hmm. Well, we have Suzuki already against Freddy Krueger.
Shit.
Right.
Oh my God! Why do I keep forgetting these?
Then we can definitely have Walter. We can have Michael Myers. We could have. What else?
Well, let's see here. Okay, granted, the Monsters Ball is normally a 4-way, but we can expand it if we have people left over. I mean, fuck it, it's the main event. Let's just go all out. So,
okay, hold on a minute. I'm just going to double check something here. Let me see.
So I say, like, whoever we have left over at the minute would be Michael Myers, Hannibal Lecter, Ghostface, as you mentioned, Pinhead, maybe. Probably not.
He'd be far too dramatic.
Norman Bates, again, probably a bit too, like...
Norman Bates. No, Bates and Hannibal Lecter as a fucking tag team. Sorry, I'm kind of here.
Well, bear in mind, you see, this is the Monsters Ball, so it's a free for all. This isn't teams. This is going to be 3 monsters, 3 wrestlers.
Lads, we're missing a massive one here. A fucking Xenomorph, alien.
Yeah.
I'm kind of going for humans here. Like, I don't want to be that guy, but it's like surely Xenomorph's going to have
Candyman.
Tough one. Again, we could actually Candyman could work here because if we're going to have the likes of Taker and Kane in this main event, they've got mystical powers. Candyman's got mystical powers. We can throw them all in here.
We can.
And then you have like actual just destroyers like Walter thrown in as well. So Walter's power is chops. You know.
Yeah, so we could have a 6. So you can have Michael Myers, you can have Michael Myers, Undertaker, Kane, Walter, Ghostface, and what is for 6? Number 6.
I do like the idea of Candyman.
Candyman's a good shout, I think. So let's set out our monsters first, right? So we got Michael Myers. Who else I think Hannibal Lecter's a good shout here.
He's very like Hannibal Lecter would be the sneaky one, I think.
Yes,
on this one.
The devious one who could actually win.
Yeah, like he literally all he has to do is kind of whisper something into someone's ear, and he can he did that to Meg.
Yeah,
I mean he had to make swallow his own tongue. It's impossible, but anyway.
Well, here's how we separate it, right? We have like 4 contenders, 2 choices. So let's split it, right? So if we go either Hannibal Lecter or Norman Bates, which one would we go for there?
Oh, I'd go for Hannibal over Norman. No,
you go for Hannibal?
With mammy issues, yeah.
Okay, so we have Hannibal Lecter in the game then. So, so what we have got next then? So we'll have okay, let's split it then between say Candyman and perhaps let's just throw in Ghostface.
Candyman over Ghostface.
Okay, so we got Candyman then. So we got a nice balance there of like dodgy guy, like sinister guys, undefeatable guys, and spooky guys. So we got one of each there, right? So now we have to find 3 wrestlers that are equivalent. So I think old school Undertaker matches up best with Michael Myers.
I do agree with that.
But then again, the Undertaker really, based off all the gimmicks he has, kind of matches up with like Candyman as well. Like he's got the whole spooky thunder, he can do that as well.
Ministry, but Undertaker.
Yes, exactly. Now, so in terms of then, so let's pair up Taker with Candyman then, for example, right? So that leaves us a Hannibal Lecter and a Michael Myers. So Michael Myers, I think him and Walter will be fascinating.
He would.
But can we do better than Walter? That's the thing. Because again, we do have other spooky wrestlers available.
I'm just thinking, imagine Diesel.
I can imagine Diesel. I can imagine him not on this card. I'm only messing, but honestly, I don't know. I wouldn't put him in an event, but that's the thing.
Triple H. In his prime, Triple H.
What if you were to draft in a monster to fight a monster?
Do you think of what? Oh, like, Jesus. No, hang on. Lesnar. Never factored in Lesnar.
Oh.
Lesnar trying to F5 Michael Myers like for like fucking 100 times and he still keeps getting up.
That match would never end.
Yeah, quite right. It wouldn't never end, but it would be funny.
Oh my God, we're not getting the last bus home after this one. That's for damn sure.
They'd be the ones that are brawling into the crowd while the rest of the match happens.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah. There's our brawlers.
Just there for the spectacle.
So we got Brock Lesnar.
Who would you have? Okay. So now we need someone against Hannibal.
It's a pity Minoru Suzuki's booked already because I think him and Lecter would be a great pair.
No, I'm not feeling that.
New Jack. Let's not.
We already have enough liabilities on this show.
That's it. Yeah, the insurance on this is going to be ludicrous.
Like you could switch out Suzuki with Walter. So
yeah.
Have Walter against fucking
Kruger. Yeah. Okay. And then that puts Minoru Suzuki into the main event then.
Yeah.
Because he's the
kind of... we paid for him, so we may as well main event him.
That's fair. That's fair. Right. So let's see how this card shapes up then. So our opening contest, scheduled for one fall, we hope, is Jason Voorhees versus Abyss. I think we're happy with that, yeah?
Yes.
Next up then is our tag team match, which is Leatherface and Chop Top versus Mankind and Chainsaw Charlie. Then we have match 3, which is Samara, versus Kana.
That one.
Yeah. And then match 4 then is Team Frankenfurter, all those people from the Rocky Horror Picture Show, versus Team Angel Cruz, consisting of Cruz himself, Mark Haskins, Sammy Callahan, Jordan Grace, and Be Cool.
Yeah, Samara.
Yeah. Then next up then we've got Freddy Krueger versus Walter. Next up then is a Chucky's Playhouse match featuring Pennywise.
Hold on. Before that match, we've had a piss break.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, naturally. We'll I think every match will have a piss break after this.
I'm just curious about something. Are we missing a by not doing Pennywise versus Doink?
You see, the way I see the Chucky's Playhouse thing, Gavin, so much fucking like gimmicks going into it.
But here's the thing is, but you have Chucky on the side of Pennywise, and then we have Dink make its way out. Yeah.
To be fair, I can easily see Doink just appearing as like kind of like a surprise. Like he's just like, oh shit, Doink's here.
Yeah,
you know
actually,
what I mean?
Okay, actually, do you know what? Yeah, no, leave it as Bray Wyatt and have Doink terrorizing people in the crowd, thinking he is a horror character when he's actually just on the payroll.
That's it. Yes.
Can we have Bruce Hart also in the crowd?
He is a horror. I would agree on that, but not enough to be on this card. Every time I see him, I'm just traumatized. But yeah, that's a fair point. So okay, so we got Pennywise versus Bray Wyatt, and then we have our Monster Ball main event. Our 3 monsters is Michael Myers, Hannibal Lecter, and the Candyman. They're all against each other. The 3 wrestlers to pair up will be the Undertaker, Brock Lesnar, and Minoru Suzuki.
That card can go either way. Anyone who lives gets to go home.
Exactly. So yeah, that's it. That's our horror card. That is a as far as fantasy booking can possibly go. So yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay with that. The more I look at it, it's like, yeah, that's groovy. I like that.
For those if you've made it this far, and if you like the idea, or if you have your own ideas, please let us know.
Yeah,
let us know what your fantasy booking is.
Within reason, obviously. We don't want all your sex
Bruce
dreams.
Hart truly a horror?
Yes.
That's what I'm
you don't have to like say that beneath the line. We already know that. Amy's just living in denial. Otherwise, like I think we got some good shouts there. But by all means, if you think of any other matches you think would be good fits, or perhaps ones that are better.
What am I living in denial of? I miss that.
Bruce Hart. Like I didn't realize this needed explaining, but clearly the answer is Bruce Hart. You need to stop lying to yourself like this, man.
What am I living in denial of? I missed that.
I know it's your dodgy connection, but it does sound like you're actually in denial.
Oh, yeah. I actually didn't hear what you said. I stick completely. You got out of it.
I know. I am saying, for the record, that you were in denial about Bruce Hart.
Oh, that's not denial. I'll happily admit that. I'm weird of upsetting with this man all of a sudden.
And him and his damn mustard jacket.
I watch far too much OSW, okay?
Yes.
Let's just put it that way.
And that in itself is a terror. I'm sure you'll agree. But yes, that is our card. That is our show for this month, I guess, for Miscellaneous. Again, if you watched until the end, thank you very much. And we would greatly appreciate.
Bastards.
Yeah, well done. But well done to that. But yes, if you have enjoyed this stuff or any of the stuff that we're doing, please do subscribe for us, like and comment and tickle our algorithms as much as you can to help this channel get better. Because we always want to get better, don't we, guys? Yes.
We want to know a few things, so therefore we can help make the channel better.
Exactly.
I just go with the flow. I just go with what the boys tell me to do, to be honest with you. And then I still derail it.
Even on your own.
So close to making I was so close to making a sex joke there. I was so fucking close. I just, no, it's too late in the night to do that. Like, I'm just fit for bed here at this point.
Really?
I think I'm broken.
Well, that's what happens when you keep doing what the boys do. So yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching Miscellaneous. We'll Amy's gonna have words with me after this.
It's like a cement mixer, isn't it?
It's actually a medical condition. I'd greatly appreciate if you didn't talk about it.
It's carpal tunnel.
Yeah, that's it. Oh no, Rankus cramp. So yes.
Again, thank you for joining us on the Miscellaneous podcast.
Yes.
Like, subscribe, notify, follow us.
Yeah.
And remember,
not
kids,
in real life, like on Twitter.
Yeah, don't follow us at all. That's not creepy. Just saying. And remember, kids, don't get nightmares.
I actually think I probably will. After listening to those like Slenderman things, like I start kind of get a little bit creeped out. I'm 30 for Christ's sakes. I'm 30 for Christ's sakes.
Exactly. After all, Slenderman isn't real. Or is he?